the CDC is reporting that there have been 530 possible cases of severe respiratory illness among people who vaped nicotine or cannabis products. I tend to think that it's the black market stuff and the acetate in the vitamin E, the oil, or actually it's an oil soluble that has created these illnesses and deaths. But the government's using this to cast a wide net on the vaping industry in general, particularly flavored vapes. And look, there is a danger with the flavored vapes and vaping in general, because while it may be helping wean adults off of traditional combustible cigarettes, you're hooking a new generation of teenagers to nicotine, which is not a good thing. Last week we talked to Ben Chandler from the Foundation for a Healthy Kentucky. And I mentioned yesterday how small mom-and-pop vape shops are getting decimated by this crackdown against vaping in general. And one such vape store owner, in fact, I believe he's got multiple locations, is Jerry, who you may know from the commercials, Jerry from Magic Vapor Shop, magicvaporshop.com. And Jerry joins us now to talk about his position on this issue. Jerry, welcome.
Hey, man, how's it going today, Kruser?
I'm doing well, Jerry. So how much is your business down over the last couple of months?
Hey, we're tickling at 20% on some days and a little bit more on others, but we're holding on. We're doing okay.
You're doing okay. Do you think that the government is casting too wide of a net here and not being specific enough as to what is actually causing these deaths and respiratory illnesses?
They're saying they don't have a common cause, and they know what is causing this, which was, and I'm glad you did your homework, the THC, vitamin E acetate that they're cutting the legal carts with this subject to make it a little bit thicker so it looks like the real thing, and they're quadrupling their money on it. It's nothing but street dealers cutting their whatever drug of your choice is with something else that isn't good for you. And it's not been found in electronic cigarettes, but they won't say that. They just keep saying it's vaping because it looks like vapor, and it is vapor, but it isn't from electronic cigarettes or nicotine.
So would this, if I go out and buy, what is advertised as CDB oil that's actually got this acetate that you're talking about, this oil soluble, can I not use it in a traditional e-cigarette? Or a vaping device? What do I need? What do I need to be able to ingest this stuff?
So the CBD is a different monster all itself, and it's for a tincture for under your tongue. It's ingestible like that. You're not supposed to vape it. It was never meant to be put into the lungs. You can turn it into vapor at a certain temperature, but as soon as it hits your lungs, which is much a cooler temperature, it turns back to oil, and these people are starting to cover the whole of their lungs with the oils, and then they can't breathe, and that's where we're at.
And there's no oil in the vapor products. If I go get a legitimate pack of Juuls or whatever else is on the market, any of the stuff that you sell, that's all kind of based. That's all water vapor, isn't it?
It's propylene glycol, and it's vegetable glycerin, flavorings, and nicotine is all that's in it.
Yeah.
We don't need to thicken it up. They use it in fog machines. They use it in asthma inhalers, some of these ingredients. It doesn't have oil in it. You're not supposed to put oil and breathe oil into your lungs.
No.
It's just common sense.
No, you're not. Is there anything that would be toxic in the flavoring? If I go get some candy stripe or peppermint or one of those fruit-flavored vape cartridges, is there anything in the makeup that provides the flavoring that has deemed to be unhealthy, or do we even know? I guess there's not a whole lot of science on this industry.
No, they've done all the science. They can tell you what's in a cigarette. They count up to 7,000 ingredients, and 69 of them are cancer-causing carcinogens. But the flavorings and stuff are there because people like the flavoring. They're playing it off like only kids like flavoring. Like, I don't like Cocoa Pebbles. You better bet I do.
Yeah.
You know, and I still like my flavors and cookie flavors and cake flavors, and it's not just for kids. But it seems like when Juul came on the market, they came up with this little very hideable device, and they doubled and tripled and quadrupled the nicotine in them, and the kids thought they were neat because they were easy to hide, easy to charge. They were neat. They got their own name. They call it Juuling, and that's where the kids started coming in. We don't get kids in here. Nobody's allowed in my store unless they're of age to smoke.
Well, was that a good idea for Juul to compound and double down on the nicotine content?
I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but Juul got in this game with some money just to do what they're doing right now, and is to give us a black eye,
Really?
kill our customer base, and take their cigarette tax money and give it back to states who are hurting dramatically, because there's 12 million people in the United States that have quit smoking with electronic cigarettes. And that's 12 million. If they only smoke one pack a day, that's 12 million packs of cigarettes a day that they're not selling and collecting taxes on. And it's killing them. They can't stand it.
Yeah, but you got Algeria, which is a domestic tobacco company. They handle Marlboro and the like, that plunked down 40% of Juul, or maybe more than that. Why would they cut their own throats by doubling down on the nicotine?
Because they're bazillionaires, and they want to destroy this industry. They in the very beginning, when I started this 8 years ago, they thought it was just a fluky little thing, and then we just kept growing as an industry throughout the world. And we just got it backwards here in the state. The head of Juul just stepped down today, and one of the guys from Algeria went and is now is the head of Juul. So he's taking over at the most opportune time to. And you would think it was damage control, but they can afford to lose this kind of money. They've got that kind of money. So it's a counterplay. It's like chess.
And you think what? They want to get people back hooked on cigarettes again?
They want people to smoke, yes. There's money in it. There's money for the health industry, too, because of Chantix and the gum. And, well, if you don't get lung cancer or mouth cancer or whatever, then you don't end up in the hospital. It's really sad to watch this and keep as close a track as I do on it, to see that our government isn't all holy and they care about the big dollars.
Is there enough regulation in the vaping industry? Because this black market stuff is being sold in convenience stores. Now, I haven't seen the packaging, but from what I understand, there's not much that tells you about what's in these products. I'm talking about the stuff that's got the acetate from the vitamin E, these that contain the THC, or they'll market them as CBD oils that you can vape. It doesn't seem like there's hardly any regulation on vaping in the vaping industry in general. Is that the case? And if not, does it need to be there?
We've had directions from the CDC, from the FDA, and we have taken the precautions. We have done things that they didn't even ask us to do. And all of our stuff is labeled. This is nicotine product. Beware. We're putting all the warnings that need to be on there before they even asked us to. They're having us put warnings on stuff that isn't even the e-liquid, like little pieces of glass. A piece of glass that holds the e-liquid in is considered a tobacco product now, and it has to have a warning on it. It's a little ridiculous, but we're doing it. We card people. We don't sell the minors. We don't even let them stand in the store. Mm-hmm. They need some common sense regulations, like maybe, tobacco's 21, so you got to be 21 to come in, and then it's an adult-only establishment then, so you don't have them in convenience stores where they sell you everything and anything, and get a verification for IDs that's foolproof. They've got the technology that you can go out and buy and scan somebody's ID, and it will tell you if it's fake, if it's real, their date of birth, and everything else. We're doing all that we can. We've monitored ourselves to the point to where we don't sell anything that hurts anybody. Nothing is 1,000% safe. Nothing in this world that you put in your body is 1,000% safe, including the air that you're breathing right now.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
we've grown and grown and grown with 30 employees, and we've helped tens of thousands of people stop smoking. And it's just short of a miracle to me.
Let me move to that stop smoking and the smoking cessation that you and others claim that vaping aids in. And we're talking with Jerry Shrivner, who is Jerry from the Magic Vapor Shops. Fred Hassan. Fred Hassan. His former company is called Pharmacia, and they were the innovator in the nicotine gum and patch. And he said on CNBC yesterday, if vaping is truly helpful to quit smoking, they should be invited to do research and then file their application with the FDA and get lawful approval. If it does good things like Nicorette gum, let's do it. Do you agree with that? Should the vaping industry perhaps be more proactive with the FDA and saying, hey, look, we're helping people get off of cigarettes, which are more dangerous, and do the research and file the application with the FDA?
The FDA wants the PMTAs, is what they're called, pre-market test analysis, or whatever, I forget what it stands for, but they keep moving the goalposts. So they give you this much time to get your PMTAs in, and then they change that. And then we had until 2022, and now they've changed that to May of 2020. And they've got all of these people that aren't ready because they keep moving the goalposts in a frenzy because they're not ready. So they're giving us until May of 2020 to hand in our applications. Then they're supposedly going to go through it and give us a year after that to find out which ones they're going to accept. And in the end, I believe they're still going to try to kill all the flavors. And 95% of the e-liquids that we sell are flavors. Adults like flavors. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they do. I had some polling last week that showed that the adults, they like the candy flavors, they like the pastry flavors. It's not just the kids buying the flavors, but kids are attracted to the flavors as well. And the Food and Drug Administration is already finalizing guidance to remove all non-tobacco flavors of e-cigarettes. So you're right, the FDA may kill the flavored vapes before they even have a chance to do the thorough review. Is it possible for flavored vapes or vapors to go underground if the FDA does wipe this out and bans all flavored, nothing other than tobacco? Would it be possible for someone to make this stuff underground like they are with some of the stuff with the vitamin E?
Not only possible, it's going to happen immediately. And there's ways to do it, and I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to encourage anybody, but there are ways, and the products are legal to buy separately, and then you can figure out how to put them together and make your own stuff. And then other people will do that, and you don't know what you're buying because it's not regulated at all. You know, they have no rules. They don't have any proper labeling. They don't have some of the guidelines that the FDA has set us to and that we have followed. So I think it's unconstitutional even to say, okay, kids are getting fat on Pepsi and Coke and all the rest of the sodas, so we're going to remove flavors from that. I don't believe it's constitutional. They can do that, and we're fixing to find out.
Have you been consulting with some legal experts on what those options might be, or has the industry, your industry, maybe not you specifically, but the vaping industry, are they looking at their legal rights here and perhaps could take the government to court?
Yeah, we have the VTA, Vapor Technology Association, and CASA. There's a bunch of groups out there that are fighting for us. They've been in Washington. They're running around to all of these meetings. They have people in place. We have a network, a full network of tens of thousands of people that are donating money to help the cause. I mean, this stuff costs money. Lawyers cost money. Travel costs money. And we've been at every one of these trying to get the truth out, but they just keep saying that it's vapor. Vapor is doing this. Yes, it is vapor, but it's not from electronic cigarette e-juice. It's from this other illegal stuff. And in all the cases, that's what they're finding. It's the same THC laced with the acetate, vitamin E acetate, that's killing these people and putting them in the hospital.
Yeah.
And because somebody can take a vapor cartridge and add their own liquid that is vitamin E acetate to that cartridge and use it, they're legally, they can say that it is vapor problem, and it's not. I mean, these are people doing stuff like they always have done. They're going to do it on their own. Tell a kid not to get a beer, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're going to get a beer. They're going to.
Yeah, and I don't know, you and I may have talked about this before. I know I've talked about this before with Ben Chandler. It is tough on your industry in that maybe it does help adults quit smoking, or at least adults who still consume nicotine or need nicotine through the day, which is not. I mean, you're not saying this is healthy stuff, vaping, right? I mean, you kind of said we don't live in a risk-free society, and we don't. I mean, there's a lot of things that harm us. I mean, vaping's not necessarily a healthy thing to do, but I with you have to think that it's healthier than cigarettes, than taking in cigarettes all the time. But the problem is, while you may be helping some adults wean off of cigarettes, the problem is with the teenagers picking it up.
You're correct, 100%. And if somebody wants to smoke cigarettes, set tobacco on fire, and they have something with 7,000 chemicals, that's their right. If they want to pick up a joint and do that, that's their right. This stuff here is proven to be 95% more safe. In the UK, they've done the studies, and the Royal College of Physicians came out with it's 95% less harmful than cigarettes are. Yeah. And we just refuse, our country refuses to recognize that because they didn't do it, or they don't want to hear it. They really need their tax money. The Master Settlement Agreement that they agreed to in 1998 to give the states billions of dollars a year, and some of the states took out bonds and sold them, and now they're not selling enough cigarettes to even pay their bonds off. They're going into default. It's a big business. Tobacco has always been big business, and because of vapor, they're shrinking. They don't like it.
Well, Jerry, this battle is going to continue. I hope we can call on you again to get your perspective as a businessman in this industry in the future, and I appreciate your time this afternoon.
It's getting interesting, and we'll see what comes out of all of this. I'm very curious, but it's happening one day at a time, and it's changing every day.
Well, hang in.
Kruser, I appreciate the time. I really do.
You're very welcome, and again, we'll call on you again, and good luck, Jerry. I mean, he's got 30 employees, and there are mom-and-pop businesses that are in this, and somebody like Jerry, they are cracking down and making sure only adults have access to this stuff, or as he said, they don't even get in the store. That's Jerry from MagicVaporshops.com, and we'll be back.